Welcome to Ocean Kingdom. This is my ultimate all-lagoon park in Jurassic World Evolution 2, and I'm excited to show you Megalodon, Mosasaurus, Dunkleosteus, and all other marine species have their own lagoon in this park. Join me for a full walk-around tour to see all the species, the path art, the holograms, the underwater tour, and everything else that I hope will inspire your next build. During the tour of this water park, I'll answer some of your burning questions, and stick around till the end for a cinematic showcase. Hello everyone and welcome to Ocean Kingdom. When dinosaurs ruled the earth, these prehistoric creatures ruled the seas. And at this entry point, you can already see one of those prehistoric creatures, the Shonosaurus, and we're pretending that this is a hologram. Works a little bit better at nighttime as the illusion of a hologram, but this is using a glitch to release the marine species from a regular hatchery, and we have a couple more of these holograms sprinkled throughout the park, and I think it's a really awesome welcome for guests to our park. First off, our guests would go off to the side, and this is our little hotel section. So we branch off to the right, we go through here, and here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 hotels, so plenty of capacity for our park guests. There's a little rest area here, as maybe there's a line to check in and stuff like that. Fountain, lots of fountains throughout this park for obvious reasons. And yeah, oh god, I'm so excited to show you this park. I think it is my prettiest park yet, but I don't feel like I can take all the credit because it's really just a combination of the lagoons with the red trees. Oh, it looks so good. But yeah, this is our entry plaza, and those are the hotels. There's a way through there, but we're gonna go straight ahead through the Biosyn fountain, or rather going around it, and we're entering like one of the main streets of the park, and it's gonna take us towards our first lagoon. And here you can see, gosh, these trees just look so good, really. Oh man, if you're still in the market for building a lagoon only park, I highly recommend that you build it on the map with the red trees. It just looks gorgeous. You can see a monorail structure in the distance, which goes into the first lagoon. But we're actually gonna go down here for our first view. So even though, you know, a lagoon park makes it a little bit more difficult to work with terrain elevation, it is one of the things that I think is most important. So I did manage to work that in here. So yeah, this section goes down a bit. We have a picnic area, so just, you know, no path here, just in the grass. The kids can climb onto this log, stuff like that, to entertain themselves. And we have viewing galleries, we have an aquarium, and also access to the underwater viewing dome. And how about we pop into that one first? And every time I pop into one of these viewing galleries, viewing domes, I'm gonna be answering one of the questions you guys asked for the Q&A. So this is gonna be the first one. What effect has playing Jurassic World Evolution 2 for your job had on your enjoyment of the game? If anything, I think it has made me enjoy the game even more, because having a platform to share my ideas with you guys also gives you guys the opportunity to share your ideas with me. And the combination of our creativity keeps getting me excited for a next build. And it's also just really nice to find people who have the same interests as me. So that was our first look into the first lagoon, and you saw that I placed those viewing domes really close together, sort of pretending that they're one larger structure instead of a singular dome. And now we're gonna head into a regular viewing gallery. What is your favorite game / what would your perfect game be like if it doesn't already exist? It might shock you to find out that my favorite game is Jurassic World Evolution 2, and I hope that Jurassic World Evolution 3, or whatever it will be called, will be the perfect game, implementing the improvements that I've mentioned in past videos. I really love the view out of that viewing gallery, like overlooking that massive lagoon. I think it looks so good with the monorail in the distance. So we're back on our guest section. You see the hotels up there. The hotels, you know, at a bit of an elevation also give a nice view. There's a bit of decorative water, which I like adding and felt only appropriate in our lagoon-only park, which of course has all lagoon species. And I am so relieved. I'm actually gonna pull a bit of a sprint over here. I'm so relieved that I didn't rush myself to finish this park earlier, because that was the plan. I was planning to finish it before the previous DLC was even like teased, and I'm so happy that I didn't, because, you know, my laziness allowed me to include the Megalodon into this park as well, which I wouldn't have been able to do if I just, you know, rushed to complete this park. So sometimes procrastination works in your favor. That's the wise Evo lesson of today. And I'm pausing here because I just think this looks beautiful. And again, I can't really take credit. It's just the color combo is so, oh, it's so good. It's so vibrant, so luscious. So this is a huge, long stretching main street, I guess. And the curves in this path were kind of a necessity because the terrain does that around the lagoons. Like, it creates these semicircles. And rather than trying to fight it, I leaned into it. Like, I emphasized it with the shape of the path. And I think that's a perfect Bob Ross happy accident, because it kind of looks like, you know, the way a child might draw waves in a drawing, you know, those peaks. So yeah, I thought that was very cute, very on theme. We've been passing a lot of fountains along the way with amenities on the other side. There's this Dominion viewing access point that allows us to go to... well, I guess we might as well do that, right? We might as well go there. I don't think it works that way. No, it doesn't. But here, it gives us this view. So, you know, you see a bit of a lagoon, you see the long stretching path. And since we're here, I guess I should answer another question. Is YouTube your full-time career? If not, what else? It is! It is my full-time career. For almost 2 years now, all I do is YouTube. So please subscribe and watch my videos so I can make rent. It's gonna be a very long tour, so I hope that, you know, incorporating these Q&A moments is going to keep it a little bit more varied. Oh, look at the Shoney over there. Oh, I love it so much. So we're just gonna walk along. You hear the announcer lady saying that, you know, attractions are closed, and that's because, dang, this park is giving me trouble. I'll talk more about that later, but, you know, along the way we have these little fountain with benches moments. You can rest your legs, and you just have this lovely view out over the lagoon. We should keep moving, though. We should keep moving. As I usually do, no path left unlined. And yeah, this park is full of detail. And that, in combination with the lagoons, is probably why the save file is struggling as much as it is. Once I load into a different save file, this park will be lost forever, because the only way to access it is through the save file. I can't get into the actual save file itself. So the only way to access it is through the autosave. I think I misspoke there. So yeah, only through autosave can I get back in. So yeah, this park, enjoy the tour. This is all for posterity, because this park is gonna get lost forever. And I think it's a combination of the amount of detail, as you'll see throughout this tour, but also just, I think the lagoons are just really hampering the game's performance. We're looking out over a huge, just regular lake, which I felt, you know, sort of balanced out all of the lagoons. You know, made the lagoons feel more like they're part of the natural landscape, even though they very clearly aren't. They're just huge concrete fish tanks. But, you know, incorporating some bodies of water on the map itself, I think, helps ground them a little bit. So again, a little bit of terrain elevation going on. We're gonna go down. And I use mostly this path combination, the Jurassic Park with the facility path, and we're going to switch it up a little bit later on in the park. There is a bit of path art coming as well, so get excited about that, if you are so inclined. I love this little roundabout with the Jurassic Park gates. I sandwiched them, like I sandwiched a wall in between them. We have the rock, there's some light shining on them. And even though the lights are recolorable, I kept them white in this instance. I quite like that. There's some stuff over there that we can go to later, but first we're gonna look into that Shonosaurus Lagoon again, but this time from the monorail structure side. So we're gonna walk down this path, and again we have that big lake that we look out over. I like how that looks. You know me, I like creating vistas like this. You know, I feel like the best parks don't just provide a good view of the dinosaurs, but also just a nice view of the surrounding area, especially when the surrounding area is this nice. I mean, look at these trees. Oh, there's another underwater viewing thing here. We might as well give me a chance to answer another question. Do you think Jurassic will be relevant in 10 to 20 years, I'm assuming? Kinda depends on how you want to define relevant, but I think it'll definitely still be a beloved franchise in a decade or two. I love how those monorail pillars look in the water. I think they add a really interesting structure underwater, and we're gonna see it again from this regular viewing gallery over here, where the monorail structure sort of creates a roof overhead as well. If you had to delete 2 Jurassic movies, what would they be and why? I would only delete a movie if I'd get to replace it with a better Jurassic movie. I wouldn't want to delete anything and just be left with fewer movies, because every single one of them has something that I enjoy. For example, Fallen Kingdom is my least favorite, but I love that cold open with the Mosasaurus Lagoon, and I really love the sinking gyrosphere scene. And this is also how I approach like the upcoming movie, right? People are all like, let the franchise die, we have enough. I welcome it with open arms, because there might be a chance that there's something good in there at least, and the more the merrier in my opinion. But if I'd get to replace them after deleting them, I'd say I'd delete Fallen Kingdom and Dominion and just go back to the drawing boards. Like, I like the direction these movies take the stories in with, you know, getting dinosaurs in our world, but I think it just could have been done better. Alright, so that concludes our experience of the first Lagoon, the Shonosaurus, but of course we have many more to go. As said, we have all marine species that are in the game in this park, and I feel quite safe in saying that, you know, this will be the definitive Lagoon park. I don't think we're gonna get any more DLC, so also no more Lagoon creatures to add. But I think we have a nice selection, and it's like I said, this park is already struggling quite significantly, so it's probably for the best that there's no more needed to be added to this. Now we're gonna go in this direction, and this is going to let us have our first glimpse into the Aralon Lagoon, and we also have an Aralon hologram. I think, let me count, we have 4 holograms in this park. So we already had the Shonosaurus, and there you see the Aralon. Of course, we're gonna have a closer look at that. First up though, just a nice little plaza, guest area. The Jurassic Park gates could not deny the temptation there to use those. We have the lights shining on them. Bit more decorative water. I love how this map looks, man. The trees, they're so good. The buildings are all blue, because, you know, that felt very on theme. And here we have the Aralon hologram. This one I placed the amber piece below it, and that's in combination with the lights, I guess we're sort of pretending are the projectors of the hologram. And I think it's pretty cool. Oh, sorry, I crouched. I was like doing a little bow before the Aralon hologram. It does require you to turn off food and thirst requirements in your park. I think only food is relevant for the marine species. So it comes with a compromise that you have to be mindful of, but I do think, you know, on occasion, it's worth it. And this time around, I felt like it's worth it. And especially the lights, they make it so much better. Like, at nighttime, it looks so good. The Megalodon hologram that we're going to be seeing later is my absolute favorite. We can go behind here. And this is where I have a restroom tucked away. So there, the restroom. And we also have these underwater viewing access points. And we're just going to go into one of them. Just one. Would you want Frontier to add prehistoric mammals? Why or why not? I think adding mammals would be perfect in a Jurassic World Evolution 3 or whatever that next game is gonna be titled. I was open to them adding mammals in this version of the game in a DLC, but it's much better to give us a bigger roster of mammals in a whole new game. And I personally hope that the sequel will go in that direction. I just think it adds an interesting new layer of species. I think it allows for a lot of variation in your parks. It also allows you to build like really fun different areas in your parks. And yeah, I'd be totally open to it. You can't tell the flaw with viewing animals this way. Like, you do have to be lucky that they actually come by where you happen to be. So that's another reason why these holograms are actually a really cool trick to incorporate. And I've done a short on how you can do that. So it's really easy. I can explain it to you in 60 seconds. I will link that short at the end of this video for you to check out if you're interested in replicating that. We're walking around the plaza to the above water viewing opportunities. Let's actually first hop into the viewing tower and give a completely different perspective of that. What is the most annoying thing about Jurassic World Evolution 2? Say it with me, people, say it with me. Terrain constraints. I don't think I need to say anymore, but I will. Especially when there is such minute terrain difference that it's invisible, but it still ends up preventing you from placing a building or decoration. It's so annoying. So that's the, like, tall above water view. Now let's pop into this one and hope the Aralon are still on the rock. Will you ever make merch for the channel? Technically, I have already made merch. As in, I've already designed something, and I've been wearing the prototype every day for a year at this point. It's a hat. It's a hat. And I was really close to launching it, but then I was confronted with some complicated tax forms that I still need to go over with my accountant to get it sorted. And that concludes our view into the Aralon Lagoon, at least for now. You saw the monorail go through there, and of course we're going to be riding the monorail as well, and we're going to do that at the very end of this tour. The next lagoon that we're going to be looking into is the Dunkleosteus Lagoon. So all 4 of the marine species DLC species, all 4 species from the prehistoric marine species pack, that's how I should phrase it, they're all up here on this upper section of the park, because that was the brand new DLC that had just come out as I started building this park, and they were like the catalyst of the reason why I wanted to build this park to begin with. And in the lower section of the park we have the other marine species. So these 4 are kind of like the stars of the show. Oh, this is the exit point of the zip line, so I need to find the entry. But you know, it's nicely tucked away, hidden behind these lovely Jurassic Park walls. I really do use those a lot, as you can see. Alright, so we're gonna go back up, and I'm gonna make a bit of haste. So now we're back on like that wavy patterned pathway main street that looks out over the Mosasaurus Lagoon. That's right there, right? And there is a path off to the side that's going to take us by the Dunkleosteus Lagoon. So that's where we're gonna go next. I'm gonna make a bit more haste as we go up here. So this is just a bit of a secluded pathway. To our right we have, you know, the viewing galleries and amenities, and to the left behind this wall, you know, you have the Hyperloop station, you have that wavy main street, stuff like that. So let's hop into this one. This is for the Dunk. What is your most wanted dinosaur for Jurassic World Evolution 2? Shantongosaurus, and make it be able to fight, please. I don't think it's coming to Jurassic World Evolution 2, I think the game is done, but I'm gonna be keeping my fingers crossed for Jurassic World Evolution 3. Yeah, so that's really an issue with these bigger lagoons. You know, the odds of actually seeing the animal are relatively slim. There is underwater viewing domes in the Dunkleosteus Lagoon as well, though, so I hope we're gonna have more luck there. And they're just in this bend. So if I rush a bit, we should have 2. Let's just see which one will be our lucky viewing dome. If you're directing a Jurassic movie, what would it be about, and what species would it add to the franchise? Okay, so anyone who has joined a recent livestream will know that I actually am writing my own Jurassic sequel, and if I manage to finish it, I will share it with you guys in like an audiobook style kind of video. So if you want a very detailed answer to this question, stay tuned. For now, what I'll say is it takes place 10 years after the events of Fallen Kingdom, and it's about people dealing with the harsh reality of sharing their world with dinosaurs. In the current version of the script, the only new species that it adds are the Shantongosaurus, Utahraptor, and Concavenator, but it also brings back the Spinosaurus and a big, accurate Dilophosaurus. Alright, I think we got pretty lucky there. We saw some good Dunkleosteus moments. So around this curve we have the start of the zipline, and I feel like we should ride it, even though it's the most unsafe thing in this entire park. And that's saying something, considering we were just like in an underwater fishbowl with Dunkleosteus, as we will be with Megalodon and Mosasaurus. But here we go. So this takes us over the Dunkleosteus Lagoon. You could wave to the people. Of course, the park is closed. That is an unfortunate necessity to keep it running pretty smoothly. Honestly, the difference between the park being open and the park being closed is huge. It's absolutely incredible. Like, we're getting comfortably 80 frames per second right now. If I open the park, it is a stuttery, jittery mess. Like, it is unplayable. I'm not gonna do that to you. So it is unfortunate that we don't get the immersion of having guests here, but it is what it is. Oh, sorry, I crouched when I should have been running. So yeah, we're now back at where we were earlier. So we're at the start of our wavy mainstream, let's just call it that. And we're gonna run across because we have to be at the other side. And maybe we'll have just one more look at the Shonosaurus Lagoon, because I just love this view. By the way, I put some of those rock viewing platforms in there. Obviously, the Shonosaurus don't use them, but it was just something to add to the lagoons. Obviously, the kelp that we have now really helps. At the time when I started building this park, we didn't have kelp yet, so I had to do something to get that height. Alright, so we're gonna run along. And we're going to go to a Hyperloop station that is going to connect us to the lower portion of the park. So this was the new DLC creature area. And now we're going to head into the animals that we had previously, but also the brand new edition, the Megalodon. Because I couldn't fit it up here, but I found a place for it in the area below. So we could take that path, but let's for a moment traverse back to the main starting plaza. And take you through that little gateway off to the side. That's right here. So we have the Shonosaurus again, our hologram. I just really like that. And now we're gonna go through here. Oh, and of course, wow. Oh, I almost forgot, the Nothosaurus. Don't worry, I didn't forget while building this park. I just forgetting while touring. The viewing galleries up ahead are gonna show us the Nothosaurus. So let's first go there, and after that we'll hop into the Hyperloop that's gonna take us to the next big section of the park. Whoops! Kind of forgot about the Nothosaurus. I tend to do that though. I tend to forget about the Nothosaurus. It's a perfectly fine species, but I don't know, I just don't really use it often. Okay, so first, the tall viewing tower. Would you rather have a herbivore pack or a pterosaur pack? Unfortunately, with the delays that this video has suffered, I don't think this is a relevant question anymore. That's on me, not on you. Because I think the game is done. Of course, I'll keep you up to date if that's not the case. Or if it is, I'll also keep you up to date. But I think this is the end, and we're in the waiting game for Jurassic World Evolution 3. But let's say there would still be another pack. I would always choose a herbivore pack as long as it has Shantongosaurus in it. So we can see the rocks in the distance, and I don't think we're gonna see much in these. Oh, no, we will see much in these. What would Chaos Theory have to do in order to win you over? So this video got so delayed that the first season has already happened, and I can tell you it didn't win me over. After sitting on my opinion on the show for a week now, I've come to the realization that I'm just really not a fan of this animation style, and that makes me extra critical. If I like what I'm looking at, I'm honestly not particularly picky. I mean, I'm a huge Avatar fan. I think that says enough. Like, don't get it twisted. I stand by all of my critiques of the show, but they probably wouldn't irk me as much as they do if I did like the look of the characters and I was able to connect to them. But it's just so uncanny valley for me. It's really off-putting, and I think that plays a huge role at keeping me from becoming invested in the show. I guess what Chaos Theory would have to do to win me over was go live action and don't make it kid-friendly. Be the dark, gritty live action series that I personally want for this franchise. But the world can't cater to me, and that's fine. I'm happy for the people who do love the show. Alright, that was lucky. I actually forgot I put a rock platform in front of that one, so that was a good view. Now we're gonna head back. Again, when dinosaurs ruled the earth, these creatures ruled the seas. You sort of have to imagine that, you know, it is implied. So there's a restroom off to the side, but we don't need to take a break. We're gonna keep going to the lower section of the park. And the first stop that we're gonna make is a private Mosasaurus section. So here we are, a truly teeny tiny little area which is nestled like at the side of the Mosasaurus Lagoon, and it provides viewing opportunities into the Mosasaurus Lagoon. Be right now if the Jurassic World Evolution series didn't exist. If the games didn't exist, I would probably still be working my marketing job, and I might have written a book or two, or maybe even more by now, because without this game, YouTube wouldn't be my job, and I also wouldn't be gaming, probably, because I hadn't for a long time until the first Jurassic World Evolution came out. Now I'm so busy with YouTube that I don't really have much free time, but if I did, I probably would have spent it writing. And it is my dream to write a book someday, so I should make time for it in the future, but I still wouldn't trade this life for an alternate one where we don't have these games, because it has just brought me a lot of joy. So I hope that in the future I can find the time to make this life with this game work with my ultimate goal of still putting a book out there. Okay, so we have that view, then we also have this one. What Jurassic World YouTuber do you want to do a vid with? I would love to do another video with the Gaming Beaver. If he's ever down for something, I'd clear my schedule. We've done 2 collaborations in the past already, and it was just a lot of fun. And he's also the reason why I'm even here on YouTube. I found Jurassic World Evolution 1 through his videos being randomly recommended to me, so he's like the genesis of the Evo Square. Of course, we're gonna be riding those zip lines when we get there, but we have one more of these viewing galleries over here. What is the purpose of this channel? Getting a little deep and existential with it, are you? The purpose of this channel is to share ideas, inspiration, tips, tricks, whatever I can share, in hopes of people getting excited about building their own next park, and hopefully also entertaining people along the way. Let me know how I'm doing. We're gonna go back into the Hyperloop and take it to the largest part of the park. Now we're in the biggest section of the park, and I want to take you in this direction first, because there's just a cute little area off to the side where people can have, you know, a bit of a break. So there's some tables and chairs in this secluded corner. This whole art path design sort of flows like water or branching kelp. I was feeling the inspiration. And this is also the exit point of the zip line that we're going to be taking later on, so we will be back here at some point. But yeah, the path just sort of flows through this entire section, and I think from the top view it looks really pretty, but also from the guest perspective, there's just a really nice flow to the path. And of course, you know me, I align my path with a whole bunch of stuff. I also use just a lot of trees and bushes in this park build, you know, just a whole lot of areas filled with nature, which I really enjoyed. And that's probably, you know, the result of the fact that normally if there's a little bit of space left, you'd be tempted to put an animal in there, right? But, you know, we only have lagoon animals here. Oh my lord, don't look at that. Alright, so this entire wall of the lagoon is lined with these fountains, so you get that, you know, that nice water spray sound effect as well. And we have 2 viewing galleries, and I'm gonna be completely honest, I forgot what is in this lagoon, so we're gonna experience that together and find out what is in there. But yeah, you can see how the path just sort of does these interesting things. I think it's really nice. It was an inspired moment, if I say so myself. That was very disappointing, but there is an underwater viewing dome in that lagoon as well, which I hope is going to give us a better perspective. I took a peek and it looks like they tend to like sticking around that viewing dome. So yeah, hopefully we have a bit more luck there, but there's no point hopping into that viewing gallery over there. So we're going to continue along with this path as I check my notes. We are going to go down towards that underwater viewing dome first, so that's good. Oh, you see the monorail in the distance. Am I in fast forward? It felt like it. The train was going really fast. Another plaza. There's a hotel. There's more seating. A little shop at the corner. Yeah, I just really like how all of this flows. And again, just a whole bunch of nature in these open areas that the path creates. All right, so we're gonna go down here. And again, terrain elevation, so important. It's not always the easiest thing to incorporate, but it is very, very important, I think. Let's hop into that one next. But first, I want to see if we can get lucky with the Plesiosaurus in the lagoon to our right. So I think this is the first underwater viewing dome. Yes. Alright, so this should be the Plesio one. Would you rather Jurassic World Evolution 3 gets released today with more creatures, attractions, and buildings, or the full game of Prehistoric Kingdom is released today? It's gonna be Jurassic World Evolution 3 all day, every day, any day. Prehistoric Kingdom is shaping up to be a great game, don't get me wrong, but I've learned that modular building is my kryptonite. It drains my motivation so fast. And to go on a tangent, I really disagree with the people who say, oh, just use the prefabs then. Because that's not the point of the game, in my opinion. That makes me feel so inadequate. And I don't need another thing in my life to make me feel inadequate, okay? We have that covered. With Jurassic World Evolution 2, I feel like I can build special stuff that I'm proud of, and I feel like I push the game to its creative limits, and that's exciting for me. And I also think it's worth sharing on the channel with you. Just using prefabs in Prehistoric Kingdom does not inspire me, it does not fulfill me, and it's also not interesting for you guys. So here's to hoping, for me personally, that Jurassic World Evolution 3 won't have modular building. Excuse me, that was Attenborosaurus, not Plesiosaurus. I guess Plesiosaurus is gonna be... Oh, they're doing a social animation over there. I think Plesiosaurus is going to be in the lagoon that's behind the Attenborosaurus lagoon. So there's going to be a viewing dome for that one at the end. We have another hotel, another plaza with amenities, and viewing galleries looking into those lagoons. But again, there's a lagoon hidden back here that we need to have a peek into first. Some more decorative water, very appropriate. And here you see the monorail, which goes around the entire park and also goes through some of the lagoons at the top. And we'll be riding that at the end of this tour, so we get that underwater tour experience. How long does it take to make a video from when you stop recording to when it's uploaded? How long editing takes and how long recording takes depends on the type of video, and there's just a crazy amount of variation in how long both of those take. So there's really no way for me to answer this. It also doesn't help that I don't keep track of the time. It just takes as long as it takes, and I kind of forget the time while I'm working. So I really can't answer this. I think the only true answer I can give you is way, way, way longer than you think. You might have noticed that in spite of the addition of the kelp, the lagoons are a little boring, and that's because I will admit decorating the interior of the lagoons is what I did last, and by the time I finished decorating the above ground area of the park, like the area we are now, by the time I finished that, The park was already, you know, in an iffy state where I realized I couldn't load into the save file, only the auto save. So yeah, I decided not to risk it too much and not spend too much time or too much decorations on the lagoons. Let's see what's in this one. How many builds have you never finished, and do you have any desire to finish them someday? Officially, I don't have any unfinished parks, as in parks that will never be finished. I have some work in progress parks right now. I think like 3 or 4, maybe more. But I have every intention of finishing them. It just takes me a while sometimes. Like this park right here, the All Lagoon Park. We started this when the Marine Species Pack came out last year, and I've only just gotten around to finishing it. I quickly hopped into the second viewing gallery to see if we could get a better view from that one. Slightly. Let's see if we have more luck with the underwater viewing dome, which is this one right here. Does YouTube pay well? This is the question everyone wants to know, I think. When you consider that I get paid for something I genuinely love and doesn't feel like work, yes, it pays well. It's absolutely a blessing to be able to pay bills doing this. If you factor in how much time I spend on the channel, like if you break it down to an hourly wage, you're confronted with the reality that some months you get a good paycheck for your effort, and other months you make less than minimum wage. At my level, with my views, it's not going to make you rich if that's what you're asking. But again, this is what I love doing. It's a very cushiony kind of job too. So every little bit that I earn just feels like I'm really, really lucky to be in this position. But overall, I'd say it pays like an average job. You know, it covers the rent, it covers the food, it covers the bunny vet bills, and it covers a Lego set from time to time. You know, it's kind of boring, basic job type of stuff. I think I should have used more kelp for the Pleurodon, because of that crocodilian look, I feel like a more planted lagoon suits it really well. Like, kelp wouldn't be the right plant for it, because kelp is, you know, an algae and it's more ocean-based, it's not really swampy or anything, but it does create that feel, you know, that feel where, the environment that crocodiles would be swimming in, and yeah, they just have that look. We don't have to hop into this one. This is the Pleurodon Lagoon again, and I already checked and they're not in front of this viewing gallery at the moment. So we're gonna continue with our tour, and we're gonna go towards the next lagoon. And I guess next up is gonna be Mosasaurus, if I recall correctly, which is in that huge lagoon over there. So yeah, we already been to the Mosasaurus, but of course, as one of the star attractions, it has multiple ways to experience it, including those zip lines. By the way, this is another view of the Pleurodon Lagoon. And we also have to check out the Mosasaurus hologram. So yeah, this is the path art that is sort of inspired by waves and kelp growing, and I really like how it looked, again, both from the top-down view as well as from the bottom view. A bit of a shop. Oh, I guess Mosasaurus isn't next. There's the Mosasaurus, one of the entry points at least. What's in here? Let's discover that together. Alright, what's gonna be in here? Not sure if I heard this right on a previous stream, but I think you said something about a fan-made screenplay for your own Jurassic movie, and if so, do you have fun writing it? Yes, I am having so much fun with it, and my apologies for regularly bringing it up, but stuff just keeps reminding me of it, and then I want to word vomit about it. I haven't actually written for it in a couple of weeks because I've been so busy. But I am going to London soon, which means I won't be able to work on videos for a week anyway, so I intend to use that trip to get a lot of the writing done in my hotel room. I even upgraded my room to one with a desk. It's expensive, but you know, posture, it's important. And I hope that after that week, I hope I can crank out just the bulk of the actual writing, and then a little while after that, I should be able to share it with you guys. Okay, the Tylosaurus were definitely putting up a good show. It is such a shame that the Tylo doesn't have a shark feeding animation, because I feel like that really undersells it. Okay, so this is one of the entry points for the Mosasaurus area, their second area. But we're gonna walk around a little bit, because there's a nicer access point that also allows us to see the Mosasaurus hologram. So that's where we're gonna go first, and it's just around this corner. We have a little Hammond statue moment over here, you know, in case you wanted to take a picture with the man himself. You know, you come here, have your picture taken. But if we go through here, just around the corner, there's this plaza tucked away with all sorts of amenities, and there she is, the Mosasaurus hologram. And it is so cool. It's probably a controversial idea. It's not going to be for everyone. I acknowledge that. I understand that. But I think it's so cool to be able to stand here and, you know, see yourself in perspective of the size of the Mosasaurus. And for the Megalodon as well, because the Megalodon is, quote-unquote, just a shark, you kind of underestimate just how big it is. So I feel like these hologram illusions really give you the opportunity to, you know, see how big they actually are, which you don't really get from the underwater viewing opportunities. Okay, so now that we've gone by the hologram, we go through here. There's a little seating section. This is the access/exit point where we were earlier. But we're gonna go up here, gonna run a little bit. I always line my, like, steep paths with these planters. It's just one of my go-to things, I guess. Even more amenities, even more seating sections. Restrooms, because when you gotta go, you gotta go. But this is also where we have the zip lines and a couple more viewing galleries as well. Let's quickly hop into one of the viewing galleries, see what we can see. But we've already seen the Mosa quite a bit. Would you like a Chaos Theory DLC for the next DLC/expansion, or a random DLC with your favorite dinosaurs but no free update or Microceratops? This is a question that I think is redundant now, because I personally don't believe we have another DLC coming. But since Chaos Theory only introduced one new and kind of dubious species, and the rest are variants of what we already have, I take a random DLC. It doesn't even have to be my favorite dinosaurs. Like, if it has my favorite dinosaurs, obviously. But even if it doesn't, I'll still take a random DLC over a Chaos Theory species pack. No doubt about it. Absolutely no question. As expected, there wasn't that much to see there, but let's hop into the zipline. And instead of taking this one, which takes us back to the Hyperloop station where we arrived, we're gonna take this one, so that we don't have to double back. It's almost as if I thought about this. I didn't. This is just another happy accident. Alright, here we go. So now we're over the Mosasaurus Lagoon. You can see the Mosa down there. That's pretty spooky. And, oh, you have the shark feeders as well, which we're going to be flying by quite closely. Unfortunately, feeding is turned off so our holograms don't die. Again, it comes with a compromise. But that's a pretty cool experience. And now we've arrived here, so we're at the opposite end. There's a Hyperloop station here as well, if I just run along. There's a Hyperloop station here as well, so that connects the park underground, you know, for easy access to all of these areas. And it just works out really well that now we can start from this point. There's another nice seating section off to the side. Fountain, of course. I like doing this from time to time. I did it in another part of the park as well. Just putting the fountain in the grass instead of on the path. Looks really nice, I think. I have no idea what this goes into. That's kind of the fun of touring a park so long after building the base of it. So let's see what's in here. What decorations do you use that isn't used in a way that was... Hold on. What decorations do you use that isn't used in a way that was not supposed to be used for? I'm not sure. I think I know what you mean, but I'm not sure that sentence checks out. Example, I used the small aviary perch for something you put food in for dinosaurs like a Apatosaurus. So yes, I do understand your question. I love using the heat detector as a camera on a tripod and create fake photo op moments for my guests. Adding some flags and decorations to indicate it as an attraction, and then an interesting backdrop like the mural or the John Hammond statue or an exhibit makes it look really convincing and a lovely addition to a game that is kinda lacking when it comes to attractions. So the Elasmosaurus Lagoon was actually completely devoid of decorations, but in terms of variation, I actually like that. Like, we have so many lagoons in this park, so it's actually nice to leave one of them just open space. So it feels like you're out in the open ocean as opposed to in a more coastal area. This is another seating section off to the side, just, private and calm away from the foot traffic of the main pathway. And yeah, I like moments like that in the park where people can have a bit of a picnic. This is the Elasmosaurus again. Let's, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, let's go into the second one and see if they're actually close to the viewing galleries. They are not. let's just move on then. We've seen them, it's okay. Let's go into this secluded little section. If we pop through here, there's another seating area. I like doing these, just, the 4 benches around these square planted trees. But around here is a little idea that we incorporated into Mini Sorna last week, which is an outdoor movie theater, which was suggested by J.S. Proximus, if I remember correctly. So I just think this is a super cute idea. That will be the screen, that's the projector, and people would watch little clips of the animals. In this case, not Velociraptor or Parasaurolophus, of course, but, use your imagination.
We are sorry for the inconvenience caused.
Now we go out here. I don't know, I just really like the look of this park. Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if you like this park as much as I do. I don't know, maybe I'm just going crazy after how much time I spent finishing this park. Maybe that's it. More seating sections, again off the path this time, just in the grass. A little more informal, I guess. A little more casual, I should say. A hotel. More fountains, and this is where we go down into the next section of the park. View of the lagoon over there. I have no idea what's in there. Actually, maybe I do. I think that might be Kronosaurus in there. Okay, so let's run down. Fountain, of course. And I like this as well, the path lined with the bushes, the trees hanging over. And then it opens up into this really open plaza. There's first like 3 circular little planted areas with picnic tables. They're a little hard to see, but when we get closer, you see that there are picnic tables in here. So again, you can have a little private lunch, a little quieter. And when you go through here, you have this like scale patterned plaza. It's huge, it's wide open. There's a ton of amenities around it. And yeah, I really like this. And over there's the Jurassic tour that we're going to take to the next area of the park, instead of the monorail. We could also hop on the monorail, but I'm saving that for last. There comes the monorail. I think... Is there a viewing thing here? No. Okay. There's one over there, and obviously we have these. So let's go into this one. Could you name 3 actors for future movies? I keep bringing it up, but for my own Jurassic sequel that I'm writing, I did also cast some of the characters, just so I could clearly put a face to the name, as I'm a very visual person. So I'll name 3 actors that I cast in my Jurassic sequel, 3 actors that I would welcome into the franchise officially as well, although they're not coming, at least not in the next one. But yeah, these are 3 actors that I have cast, along with many others. There's a whole cast list, but these 3 ones I'll share with you. Andrew Lincoln, Anna Torv, and Jack Wolf. Well, we got lucky with that social at the very start, but other than that, there wasn't that much to see. We have one more underwater viewing dome at the end of this path, and then we're gonna move over to the Megalodon. We also still have Ichthyosaurus, which are tucked away in a little lagoon, little baby lagoon. If you were in charge of the next Jurassic movie, which creature would be the flagship? Example, Indominus Rex for Jurassic World. I'm working on my own Jurassic script, as you might have heard me say, which means I've given some thought to the dinosaurs I want to see. I think the Spinosaurus would be considered the flagship dino per your example in the script I'm writing, but an accurate Dilophosaurus and accurate feathered Utahraptors are the main threats in, again, my version of a Jurassic sequel that I'm writing. What I would want to see in the actual franchise is the same thing. I'm just literally writing my dream continuation for the franchise. So yeah, Spinosaurus, big Dilo, feathered Utahraptors. Bring it on. And that was the Styxosaurus in another mostly empty lagoon, and how I justified that for myself, like to sort of canonize it and yeah, reason it, is that these lagoons sort of simulate open ocean, whereas the planted ones are more coastal areas. So now we're gonna ride the tour. Actually, we're gonna drive, so we're gonna be a little bit quicker about it. So this tour connects us to another area of the park. It's also connected via the monorail again, but I'm saving that for later. So you just quickly hop onto a vehicle, and it's a short ride. We're already there. Ah, you can see the Meg hologram. Nice. We just hopped off the Jurassic Tour, which is really just, you know, a shuttle vehicle going to and from this destination. And now we've arrived at this plaza, and you see the Megalodon hologram. And like, come on, this shows its size so well, and it really is a shame that I can't have guests in this park. The park has to be closed in order to operate well, but when you see guests walking around this, it just shows its massive size so much better than the lagoons do, and I really feel like it adds to the experience. So I feel like once in a while, it's worth the compromise to not have the animals eat from the feeders, because, this is so cool. Like, you could just walk under it. Oh, it's, yeah. I really like this, and it looks great at nighttime because you can see the lights a lot better, so it looks more hologram-esque. Here comes the monorail. So good. I still love this game so much. Let's see, where should we head first? I guess we'll go this way first, and then we'll finish with the Megalodon hologram again. So this is the Megalodon Lagoon. What is a tip you would give newcomers to Jurassic World Evolution 2 for park building? I see an opportunity, and I'm gonna take it. My tip for newcomers is to watch my channel. Specifically, my playlist with best tips for Jurassic World Evolution 2. Shameless promotion, I know. But I think the biggest mistake new players make is thinking the limited option in the game mean that you can't get creative, and what happens is they lose interest, when really you can do so much more with this game than many people give it credit for. And I hope my videos show that and have people get the most out of this game the way I feel like I get the most out of this game. I get so much joy out of it, and I want other people to have that experience as well. Let's hope we get a cool perspective from the underwater viewing dome, which has the access point right there. So I really like how this plaza is, you know, separated by these wall pieces. Feels maybe a little bit random, but it makes them feel like their own separate section. It allows you to switch between two different path colors. So I really like the effect that that creates. Alright, let's go into the underwater viewing dome now and hope that there loitering around there. Have I ever thought about quitting YouTube? Yes. Last time I thought about quitting YouTube, I actually ended up quitting my full-time, well-paying job instead. I was just in a period in my life when I was very unhappy and something had to give, and I thought YouTube had to be that thing that I would have to give up. And that would have been the responsible thing to do, don't get me wrong. But I realized YouTube was the thing that made me happy and still makes me happy, and it was my real job that was the thing that made me unhappy. So I took a leap, and I haven't regretted that a single day since, and I haven't considered quitting YouTube since then either. I do sometimes think about what to do if/when the channel stops doing well enough to, cover rent and all of that stuff. Especially now that Jurassic World Evolution 2 is probably over and we have a bit of a gap to bridge until Jurassic World Evolution 3. And it's kind of scary, it's kind of up in the air whether I can bridge that gap financially. But I hope you folks will stick around for the creative builds until we get to the exciting news for the new game and we can just go from one chapter of the channel into the next. I absolutely love Megalodon. It might be my favorite lagoon creature. I'm gonna have to sit on that a little bit longer, but yeah, I'm floating the idea that it might be my favorite. Obviously, I'm gonna be doing like a full updated species ranking once we're relatively sure, at least more sure than we are now, that the game is done and that there's no more content coming, because, I don't want to have to update that list very shortly after that. But yeah, Megalodon is, I don't know, it's hitting the spot, man. I love it so much. So we're just continuing along. There's another Hyperloop station, again, that just connects to several points in the park, as well as the monorail. I should not be walking backwards, that's very dangerous. Let's hop into this viewing gallery. Again, this is the Megalodon Lagoon. I think we've had our best view of the Megalodon in the underwater viewing dome. Moving along, there's really only one species left to see, which is probably not the most exciting species I've left for last, but it is the Ichthyosaurus. But there's still quite a bit of park to explore. Again, love using these wall pieces. It's a bit of a bottleneck, but I just really, come on, that's such a cool reveal. Imagine actually being guest there and walking through and it's like, whoa, this wide open space. I really like it. You might have noticed throughout the tour that we have several of these cutouts in the path, which are actually shaped like water drops. This park, man, it's so on point. Sorry. So there's another seating section in the grass. I really like doing that for this one. Really, there's just a whole bunch of nature in this park, and I like that. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. So there's a little section off to the side, and I'm gonna run a bit because it's probably a little bit dull. I think this is the Pleurodon again? I'm not seeing them, but I'm pretty sure this is the Pleurodon. Oh yeah, there you go. They've had their chance. We've seen them. Let's also quickly go into this one. Also not much to see, but it is a nice view of the park, which is why I love adding these viewing towers. They're not the best way, obviously, to view the lagoon animals, but again, I just really love giving my guests an experience of the environment as well. And that's just probably because I'm just really over the moon with these colorful trees. I think they look so good. Anyway, we're moving on. And we're heading into sort of an enclosed area. It used to be entirely enclosed. I should have smoothed this out a little bit. So that's the Tylosaurus Lagoon, and that's the Megalodon Lagoon. And in the negative space between them is the Ichthyosaurus Lagoon, just a singular lagoon circle. It used to be that the Tylosaurus Lagoon was this huge circular lagoon that went all the way around, and the area where we are standing right now was only accessible via Hyperloop. But with the addition of Megalodon, I had to change that up because I wanted to keep the overall symmetrical shape of the park, and the only way to then add the Megalodon Lagoon was at the back here, and I didn't have enough space without modifying the Tylosaurus Lagoon. So, with a little bit of a change, I managed to fit the Megalodon in there, and honestly I feel like it probably worked out for the best, you know? This park relies on the Hyperloop system quite a bit already for transport, so I like that this area is still accessible via the path. But you can still see the Hyperloop here, the remnant of what was initially the plan for this area. This would have been the only access point. What is this? How are you feeling about your current sub count? I am in shock by my current sub count and very, very excited that we're on our way to 250,000, which is my dream milestone for nothing but the arbitrary reason that you can say it as 250,000. That just sounds so fancy. But sometimes I forget how far along we are. Like just last week, I was watching a YouTuber who had 187,000 subscribers. And I thought to myself, oh wow, that's amazing. I can't wait for my channel to get there. And then it hit me, like I'd have to screw up very badly to get there because we're way past that. It's unreal. A huge thanks to everyone who hit that subscribe button. It's amazing. Thank you. That was another opportunity to see the Tylosaurus, of course. Let's also go into the tower. We don't have to stay here long, but I just wanted to show you this view. I think it's quite nice. You have the zip lines in the distance. That's quite nice. So now we're walking around the Ichthyosaurus Lagoon. There's planted gardens all the way around. There's light shining on the rocks and the lagoon walls. And again, like, I like having the lights white this time around. Usually I can't resist adding color, but I felt like this park was already so colorful with the blue of the lagoons, the red of the trees, the green of the grass and the fluffy bushes and all of that, so I felt like it didn't need any more color, and I just really like the effect of the white light, honestly. So let me just hold on. Let me go. I know we've been here before, but just to show you like the effect of it, right? Like that just looks really, really nice, I think. All right, backing it up. Oh, tripping over rocks. We're gonna head into the final lagoon viewing gallery, and that is for the Ichthyosaurus. And they have a small space, but you know, they're a small species. If you could change one thing about the Jurassic franchise, what would you choose? I hesitate to answer this because no matter what I change, some people, probably many people, will say it's a change for the worse because they love the way it is. And I don't really want to take away something that people love. Like, that's weird to me. Like, if people love something, I'm not here to rain on their parade. They can have it, that's fine. But I will answer your question. So here we go. The one thing I'd change about the Jurassic franchise is chaos theory. I'd leave Camp Cretaceous alone, something for the younger demographic. I'd leave Camp Cretaceous alone, something for the younger demographic that so many people really loved, but I'd change chaos theory into a dark, gritty, terrifying, in-depth, live-action series. And I'm sorry, again, I would rather have us have more than exchange one thing for another, but that's the parameter of the question. You know, there's something to be said about small lagoons, and that something is that they're unethical, yes, but also it just guarantees that you are gonna see the species, like they're always within viewing range. So honestly, I could spend a lot of time in that lagoon. I just felt like it was really nice. So we're leaving the enclosed area, like the Ichthyosaurus Lagoon sandwiched in between the Tylosaurus and the Megalodon Lagoon. And up there, we go back to the Megalodon hologram, but there's this final section off to the side with another underwater viewing thing. I think this is gonna be Kronosaurus. That was a very mysterious view. I kind of liked it actually with the kelp, but it's probably not really a people pleaser. So I don't think there's much sense in hopping into that one, but we will go into the tower for an overview of this area. Might see the path art. Technically. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna head back towards the Megalodon hologram, and we're gonna go into the monorail, which is gonna take us all the way around the park, and of course through the lagoons up at the top as well, which is one of the glitches that we are able to do in this game. It's probably a little late to announce this, but yes, my parks are still completely unmodded for the moment. So everything you saw in this park can be done in the vanilla gameplay with the help of a couple of glitches, like of course with the holograms. If you want to check out how to do that, again, I will link the short for that at the end of the video. It's really easy, 60 seconds, and then you know how to do it. And there's also a full glitch guide video on the channel that I'll link at the end as well. Because I think that the glitches help especially with the lagoons, making them more interesting. Like getting the monorail in there, doing the natural lagoon edges, that sort of stuff really helps out. You know, in case after watching this video, you're inspired to build your own all-lagoon park. Which... might I recommend once more that you also build on the map with the red trees. All right. Where are we? Yeah, okay. So we're at the Megalodon station. That's the Megalodon Lagoon. You can see the Ichthyosaurus little circular lagoon, sort of embraced by the Tylosaurus lagoon. And we're getting ready for takeoff. Here we go. Oh, this is actually a really fun way to end. Let's hide that. Really fun way to end the tour. Look out onto the ocean. Oh, there's a little area up here that I totally forgot to visit. Oops, that's my bad. But yeah, there's like this elevated plateau that allows a nice view of the park as well. Thanks to the magic of editing, we are now on that elevated platform. So it is reachable via the Hyperloop system that is in this park. And if you walk to the edge, oh, you can see the Megalodon over there. It is so cool. So yeah, a nice view like this, but of course the reason I did this was to build this tower overlooking everything. Oh, and that's an amazing view of this area of the park, if I say so myself. I'm not trying to take credit here, it's just the game looking absolutely amazing. I love this so much. Oh, these trees, man, these trees. I don't know, they like release so much serotonin in my brain. So good. With the blue of the lagoons, I really like it. So this just gives us a bit of an overview of the park. By the way, if you've been enjoying this tour, which I hope you have been, please give the video a like. That lets me know that you enjoyed it and you want to see more like it. And of course, also consider subscribing for more content like this. I'm gonna speed through this so we don't stay parked for too long. I think this is a really fun way for guests to also get to experience the park. There's gonna be a station coming up that's not connected to anything, like it's not in use. It's just, I had to have a station up here for the glitch to work. So that's why there's a stop here, but you know, it's a whole lot of nothing. But after this, we're gonna... Oh, that looks a little wonky right there. Speaking of glitches, after this, we're gonna head into the lagoon itself. Oh, I like that you can see like the pillars in the water a bit. And here, you see in the distance the concrete wall. We're not gonna hit it, we're just gonna phase through. Same with the gate. The gate is a little low. I realized that earlier on as I was like taking glamour shots of the park. So technically we are gonna hit that, but practically we're not. So fret not. You're perfectly safe. This is a perfectly safe experience. But unfortunately, this is the only way to get a bit of a tour through the lagoons. There you go. So this is the Aralon Lagoon. Hello. Pretty cool. Takes by the viewing dome and under the lagoon rock platforms. Next is the Dunkleosteus, so blink. And here we go with swimming with the fishes. There's the big dunk. Yeah. Going through the kelp. Oh boy, head-on collision. And finally, the monorail takes us into the Nothosaurus Lagoon. And this lagoon is sort of like, you know, thermal. There's all these red lights, all these thermal vents, and of course, the nothosaurus. Unfortunately, it is a really short trip because the monorail is quite fast. I hope that if there's going to be, well, we don't know what it's going to be called, but I hope that Jurassic World Evolution 3, or whatever it is going to be called, I hope that we are going to get, you know, different ways to experience our lagoons in that iteration of the game, because I really love this effect of traveling through the lagoons. We're going to hit that as well. And this is another nothing station. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. Stick around for like a little bit of a overview at the end here of the park with some nice shots. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Please give it a like if you did. And if you want to see more tours, there's a whole playlist of them. I've done so many tours, so many park builds that I hope will give you inspiration. And I hope you'll subscribe to see the next one. Thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and until next time, enjoy the game.